Hey everyone, it's Troy Jackson with the weekly update. This week, Senator Eloise Vitelli, who was our assistant majority leader, moved up to be majority leader, which was a great choice. Eloise definitely has a long history of working with people throughout the state, promoting business interests, workforce development, has a really good mind on, well, just everything really actually, and is just a really good choice for our caucus. In addition to that, because Senator Vitelli moved up, the assistant majority leader position was open, and Senator Mattie Daughtry ran and won that position. Senator Daughtry is currently the education chair. She spent a long time in the House on education. She's a small business owner, and she also has a really great mind for what's going on right now in our economy, the challenges, understanding not only, like I said, business issues and what is happening with workers, but also on the educational front, the challenges that schools, communities have had, and certainly children are having in the times we are in now. So it really is a great addition to the leadership team. We have a great group overall, and so there's a lot of people that could have stepped in that role, but Senator Daughtry is going to be a great choice and a great leader for all of us, and really happy and excited to have her on board, and look forward to working with her more over the upcoming session. So this week I also joined with Assistant Majority House Leader, Representative Rachel Talbot Ross.
Research shows that throughout our history, public policy decisions have created structural barriers, making it harder for Indigenous and Black communities and other Mainers of color to thrive, and that is detrimental to all Mainers. Each time we come to the decision-making table, we have an opportunity. We can exacerbate existing disparities, or we can try to eliminate them. We can create new injustice or prevent it. But without a quantitative analysis of the proposals before us, we cannot always see clearly which path we are headed down. With LD2, we can change that.
Too often, and I've certainly done this myself, we're quick to pat ourselves on the back for doing really what is the basics. Whether it's honoring Martin Luther King Jr. or in the past session, banning offensive mascots, which I was obviously glad to do. But, what's actually needed is a fundamental change in our policies and the way that we pass our laws. Now, I've often said that the way we solve our toughest challenges is by getting people around a table and coming up with solutions. And that certainly has been harder in COVID, but I still very much believe that you have to get people together and talk issues through. But the reality is, if you're not at the table, or if you're not even invited to the table, then you're not going to be part of the solution. Quite often you're left completely out of the discussion. We must ensure that the laws that we pass deliver for and do right by Maine people, especially Indigenous people and people of color. We should have been doing this a long time ago, and I was really glad to stand with Representative Talbot Ross to try and pass this important piece of legislation. Also this week, I was able to attend virtually the Maine State Chamber of Commerce event. In the past, these events have been obviously held in person, and members of leadership were invited to speak about the upcoming legislative session. Because of COVID, the Chamber held it virtually this year, and the idea was to talk about priorities for the session, things that obviously are affecting Maine right now. My remarks were, while it was more challenging not being there in person to have the back and forth, my remarks were that we know as Senate Democrats and overall as the legislature that small businesses in Maine, businesses overall, have had a really tough time with COVID. Certainly workers have had an extremely tough time in COVID, and the legislature has to do everything they can to try and help in that regard. Make sure that tax conformity is done well, done fairly, making sure that small businesses are not burdened with that, and that broadband across the state, which is more needed than ever. We fund that. We make expansions in that, and that healthcare obviously is a priority once again, which for myself it always has been. But in the time of COVID, making sure that people can get tested, making sure that people can get vaccines, and are not going to be burdened with huge costs because of that. So that was what my remarks were at the chamber. Looking forward to working obviously with my colleagues on both sides of the aisle, in both chambers and administration, to do everything we can to try and ease the burden on businesses and workers that have definitely been negatively affected over the last 10 months through no fault of their own. So with that, a little bit shorter update this week, but definitely look forward to seeing you next week, and everyone take care and be safe.